friends, welcome back to Art Class with Mr. Poulos. Today we're going to be making a mural based on the artwork of the artist Keith Haring. He was a mural artist in the 80s, and hopefully by now you've seen some of his work and we've talked about him a little bit. So because we're going to be making a collage, you need some construction paper. If you don't have construction paper, you could maybe use some paper that you've painted yourself, or maybe some stuff that you found in the recycle bin. But I'm going to be using 4 different colors today, and scissors, pencil, glue stick, and a marker. So let's get started. Here we have all of my materials. To get started, I only need my pencil and one of my colors. One of these is going to be the background. I think I'm going to just choose my darkest color. I'm going to put that off to the side. And these are going to be for me to create 3 different figures. So creating the figure is pretty easy for a Keith Haring project. And what I like to do is start with my pencil, work light, work kind of big, and I start with a stick figure. So just a circle on there for my head. Is that a little bit hard for you to see on the camera? I'm going to try and press a little bit harder. So it's going to make that harder for me to erase in the end, but if you work nice and light, you can erase, or I suppose we can flip these over. So I start with this pretty much any time, right? It kind of looks like my lollipop. And Keith Haring figures were very dynamic. Think of dance moves or karate moves. So you're going to want your arms not just standing down by the side. That's kind of boring. You want your arms, maybe up in the air, or maybe look like they're going to do a superhero pose, something like that. Same with your legs. Straight down, going to be boring. So I'm going to put my leg out, and this one down and over. Okay? Not terribly hard to get a stick figure going. And this is fairly big on my page. This is about half the size of my page. If you work a little smaller than that, that's okay too. So then what we do is we just trace around our stick figure. So start at the neck, and I go around my lines. If you've ever made bubble letters, when you first start learning to do bubble letters, this is pretty much the same process, where you draw your letter, and you trace around it. This time I'm drawing my stick figure, and I'm tracing around it. Okay? The next thing I do is I take my black marker, and I'm going to go right around the outside of this guy here. Not bad. So if you worked lightly, you can take your eraser and you can clean up any of that pencil line in the center, because you don't need to see that anymore. Your other option is, after you cut this out, you can flip it over. But you may have to go over the Sharpie one more time, or the marker one more time. Now I can see through this, so that's not a bad option for me. Since I had to draw so dark with my pencil, I'm going to actually flip it over and retrace my black marker. Now, you may not have to do this, but that is what's working for me. There we have a pretty cool Keith Haring figure. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to make 1 or 2 more of these in different poses. I'm going to fast forward through that process, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do for the second half of this project. Creating these figures and cutting them out will probably get you through 1 day, and then assembling them and doing the background will probably be day 2. So let's fast forward and see how far I get. Great. So if you were paying attention during the Keith Haring video, you probably saw that some of his characters have these cool dog faces. And if you'd like to try that, go ahead. I just put 2 rectangles open for the mouth, and 2 triangles on the back of the head for the ears. Now it's time for me to actually start collaging. So getting these done would be great for a whole day of a project. And if you go no farther than that, that's totally fine. Now these guys were a little bit bigger than I expected them to be. So 2 is good for me. If yours are a little bit smaller, go ahead and make 3. That's fine. Just don't lose these if you're waiting a day in between doing them. Keep them together. So day 2 is going to be attaching these to the background picture, and I want them to pop up and take up some space. So it's what's called a relief sculpture. It's not quite a sculpture because it's not meant to be viewed from the sides, but it does give it a little bit of depth just to have these pop up off the paper. So we're going to stop here for the day, and next time I'll show you how to make this stuff pop up and how to decorate the background. So I'll see you guys then. Keep making art.